Good evening, everyone. We'll start our presentation a little after 6. Wait to make sure that everyone joins. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Just repeating what I said earlier, we'll wait just a little bit longer to see if anyone else joined the meeting. And Shane will probably take it away in about a minute from now.
All right, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation's public information meeting for the installation of Centerline rumble strips. This project intends to install Centerline rumble strips on eligible roadways throughout Connecticut that will be resurfaced in 2025. Tonight, we will be presenting specifically on the need for Centerline rumble strips in New Canaan on routes 123 and 124, as well as highlighting the safety benefits that comes with its installation. My name is Shane McLean, and I'm a transportation engineer at the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us. We hope our presentation will be informative, and we hope to answer your questions and concerns during tonight's question and answer session. By the end of tonight's meeting, we hope you will have a better understanding on the importance and the benefit of installing centerline rumble strips. We ask and would greatly appreciate it if you can fill out the very brief feedback survey at the end of the presentation that is located on the project's webpage. The survey will help CTDOT improve these public meetings going forward. Again, the project webpage is portal.ct.gov/DOT 2025 CLRS-New Canaan. There's also a civil rights flyer that's available. The website for that is the portal.ct.gov/DOT/equity/title-VI. I'd like to reinforce that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. And then this is a similar civil rights flyer, but this one is in Spanish. At the end of the presentation tonight, there will be a question and answer session through the Zoom Q&A. You can also ask a question by sending an email to DOT 2025 CLRS-New Canaan at ct.gov or by leaving a voicemail at 860-594-2020. The comment period will be open through Tuesday, August 26, 2025 and you can send an email or leave a voicemail until that date. We also have a project webpage which contains the same information I've previously explained on how to provide comments or ask questions. The webpage address is portal.ct.gov/DOT 2025 CLRS-New Canaan. A recording of tonight's presentation, including the live event Q&A, will be stored at portal.ct.gov/CTDOT VPIM archive. If you are viewing this presentation on Zoom, you have the option to view captions or subtitles for this presentation. To turn on this feature, select the CC button at the lower right corner of your screen to turn on the captioning. Then choose the language by selecting the settings wheel next to the CC button. Select Captions/Subtitles and select the desired language. Our presentation will last approximately 20 minutes, and once it is completed, we will host a live question and answer session. As I mentioned, you will have 3 ways of communicating with us during the live Q&A. One method is to ask your question directly into the Zoom event. You can ask a question by clicking on the Q&A icon at the bottom of the meeting page and type in your question in the pop-up window. I would now like to introduce those from the department who are participating in this meeting. Balaj Zoke is a supervising engineer of CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit and is a project manager. Colin Balmer is also supervising engineer of CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit. Rob Smith is a transportation engineer of CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit and also the lead project engineer for this project. Jake Chamberlain is also an engineer with the Safety Engineering Unit and will be monitoring this project email address and call and voicemail for any questions or comments during the live Q&A. Once again, I'm Shane McLean, an engineer in the Safety Engineering Unit and a primary presenter for tonight's meeting. We will go through the project description and purpose of this project, as well as objectives that we hope to achieve. Then we will give a thorough description of what centerline rumble strips are and why centerline rumble strips are a good countermeasure for this roadway segment. Next, I will discuss the installation process of centerline rumble strips. Lastly, we will go over the cost and timeline for this project before we wrap everything up with the live Q&A discussion. The Connecticut Department of Transportation will resurface Route 123, New Norwalk Road, from Michigan Road to the New York State Line, and Route 124 South Avenue, from Lambert Road to just south of Luke's Wood Road, as highlighted on the aerial image. The sections of Michigan Road to New York State Line and Country Club Road to Luke's Wood Road were identified as being candidates for the installation of centerline rumble strips, coming out to a total length of 2.5 miles. I'll go over what qualifies a section of Route 123 and 124 as eligible later in the presentation. Centerline rumble strips are discontinued at intersections with public streets such as Logan Road because vehicles use the intersectional area when they are turning into and out of these side roads. So what are centerline rumble strips? Centerline rumble strips are grooves within the double yellow centerline that produce sound and vibration inside the vehicle when the tires come into contact with them. The sound and vibration alerts the driver that they have departed from their lane and gives the driver an opportunity to recover. Centerline rumble strips are different than the grooves along the edges of CT interstate highways. The grooves for centerline rumble strips on secondary roads are not as deep and therefore produce much less sound outside the vehicle. So here's a clip from CTDOT's informational video about centerline rumble strips. For the video, interviews are conducted with state police, a Yukon traffic safety expert, and a town official regarding the benefits they have seen from CLRS. The full video is available on CTDOT's YouTube channel, CTDOT Official.
Causes of head-on collisions seem to be distractions inside the vehicle. As a result of that, people leave their lane of travel, they drift over into the opposing lane, and then you strike the other vehicle. When you combine the movement of one vehicle and the movement of another directly striking one another, the force is multiplied.
The centerline rumble strips are grooved pavement that is placed along the center of the road that provides tactile information to drivers if they're leaving their travel lane, crossing over the center line. They get a vibration and a sound to alert them that that's what's happening, and it has them correct back into their travel lane.
All right. So I use Centerline rumble strips. Crash statistics from 2022 to 2024 in Connecticut showed that roadway departure crashes accounted for approximately 480 of the 950 total fatalities, or 51%. The Federal Highway Administration has identified centerline rumble strips as a proven safety countermeasure to address head-on and sideswipe opposite direction crashes. Therefore, in an effort to reduce this number, they recommend CLRS to be installed in all eligible locations. When driven upon, the audible and vibratory warning greatly improves the chances that a driver will quickly and safely return to their lane. Also, as mentioned in the previous slide, a wavy sinusoidal shape is being used, a design which reduces noise outside of the vehicle, opposed to the traditional design of centerline rumble strips used previously. Centerline rumble strips also have the additional benefit of helping drivers navigate during poor weather conditions such as fog, snow, and rain when pavement markings are obscured. As I mentioned in the last slide, centerline rumble strips are an example of a proven safety countermeasure, according to the Federal Highway Administration, along with the other countermeasures shown in this slide. Additional information can be found here by Googling proven safety countermeasures and clicking on the first link. CTDOT's Safety Engineering Unit also has an informational website which provides additional information specific to Connecticut. In 2024, there were 28 fatalities and 1,800 injuries from head-on crashes. From head-on and opposite direction sideswipe crashes on CT non-freeway roadways. Centerline rumble strips help reduce these type of crashes, which could be attributed to distracted or fatigued driving. Around 42% of people injured in crashes associated with vehicles crossing the centerline were the ages 20 to 39. In a 2024 study, Connecticut roads saw a nearly 20% decrease in roadway departure crashes after the installation of CLRS. Looking at motor vehicle crashes on this segment of Route 123 and 124 in New Canaan, from 2020 to 2024, there are at least 2 crashes that involve vehicles leaving their lane, likely because they were distracted. Both crashes resulted in property damage. This data is publicly available from the Connecticut Crash Repository at ctcrash.uconn.edu. The point of the centerline rumble strips is to reduce the possibility of these types of crashes. It is also important to note that near misses are not recorded, so they may be happening, but there is no information about them. Centerline rumble strips are a highly effective, low-cost proactive treatment intended to reduce lane departure crashes and will aid in continuing to keep these crashes from happening. Additionally, per other studies around the country, centerline rumble strips can reduce head-on crashes by as much as 50%, run-off-the-road crashes by 46%, and fatal crashes by 51%, and serious injury crashes by 41%. There are approximately 43 states across the country that use centerline rumble strips, including all the states in the Northeast US. Connecticut started installing centerline rumble strips in 2018 and shoulderline rumble strips on limited access highways since 1994. CT has installed over 500 miles of centerline rumble strips on state roads and over 90 miles on local roads, with more being proposed every year. Lastly, there's a link to a video titled Rumble Strips, The Sweet Sound of Safety, which is a short YouTube video uploaded by the Federal Highway Administration and will be available once the presentation is posted online. It can also be found on YouTube by typing in the underlined keywords. As you can see on this map, as of last winter, the majority of towns in Connecticut have had centerline rumble strips installed. Any town shown in green already has this is a different map, so this map is in blue, but any map shown in blue already has centerline rumble strips, whether it's a town or state-owned roadway. And then the towns in orange are programmed to have them installed. And towns shown in white do not currently have centerline rumble strips, but so likely change in the near future as additional roads are repaved. The department goes through a screening process based on FHWA guidance to determine centerline rumble strips eligibility for each road, including taking a look at the traffic volume, making sure that the average daily traffic on the road is at least 2,000 vehicles per day, ensuring that the pavement is in good condition and less than 3 years old, The roadway is to have a minimum of 14 feet of width from the center line to the edge of pavement. And this makes sure that there's plenty of room for drivers to maneuver without going over the centerline rumble strips. The roadway generally has a posted limit of 35 miles per hour or greater. Lastly, there should be a low residential density. If there are some homes along a segment, we try to ensure that the majority are at least 100 feet from the edge of the road. The average cost of installing centerline rumble strips is about $1 per linear foot. This means the total cost of centerline rumble strips is approximately $13,000 for the proposed segments on Route 123 and 124. The cost will be covered by 100% state funds, so there is no cost to the town, with construction anticipated to take place during next year's construction season. These are just a couple of pictures taken from construction showing part of the milling and grooving process. Construction vehicles work and travel at 2 to 3 miles per hour to install the centerline rumble strips. The work is done during non-rush hours and the centerlines are painted shortly after. And with that, I want to thank you for your time listening to our presentation. And now it's time to hear from you in our live question and answer session. Remember, you can use the Zoom Q&A to send us live questions. You can also email us any questions or comments via the project email address or leave a voicemail message on the call-in phone line. We also want to encourage you to take our very brief feedback survey to help us improve how we deliver these virtual public information meetings. Do we have any questions from the email, voicemail, or the chat for us to answer?
All right. Thank you, Shane. Thanks for the great presentation. My name is Colin Baumer with Connecticut DOT in the Traffic Safety Engineering Group, just here to moderate some of the questions that have come in and take a look at what we have so far. From Bill, will homeowners on 124 hear cars that hit the rumble strip? And Bill, I'm just wanted to maybe confirm with you if you could just confirm in the chat. Are you referring to the Route 124 homeowners adjacent to it is what you're referring to? Yes. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, this is Rob Smith. Shane introduced me earlier. Colin is monitoring the questions, like he said, and I can give the answers. So we don't anticipate that homeowners would be able to hear the centerline rumble strips very much at all. That's what we've seen in the past for a few reasons. One is we try to pick roads where most of the homes are back from the road. So looking at Route 124, we found in the proposed segment, we found approximately 50 homes. It looked like only about 2 of them are, within about 100 feet of the road. The other thing that we've seen in the past is because of the sinusoidal shape, the new wavy shape of these rumble strips, and even the previous traditional ones we were using that were shallower, it's difficult sometimes to even hear people outside the vehicle, people going over the rumble strips over just the ambient noise on the road. So we tried that in a few different places. In some places, if you stand by the side of the road, you can still hear it. In other places, not so much at all. So generally, I would say no. And also, the whole idea of the rumble strips would be just to discourage vehicles from crossing the center line in the first place. So the idea is, if a driver hits it once, and they're going to correct and they're going to stay in the lane going forward. Thanks for that question.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. And just a reminder for everyone with us tonight or accessing the presentation at a later date, you can contact us by email or by phone, and the project webpage. Those are all displayed on the screen there. So next question from Phyllis. There's a lot of pedestrian and cyclist traffic on Route 124. this is likely to increase noise pollution from passing these individuals safely.
Yeah, so there will be noise when they pass people, if they're walking on the shoulder, or if they're cycling. So that's something that definitely we can discuss more with the town. Currently there are, I know we're talking about Route 124 right now. There are some Centerline rumble strips currently on Route 123 south of the proposed segment, because this meeting tonight's not just about Route 124. There's another segment on Route 123 up to the New York state line that we're talking about. And south of there are some existing on 123. So I don't know if there are similar pedestrian and cyclist traffic on 123. If there is, that's something I could certainly discuss with the town and say, have there been any complaints? Have you heard anything? Again, one thing I would say is that the noise is what you experience in the car is very different than what you experience on the outside with these new style of rumble strips that we put at the center line. And with the idea that most of the homes on 123 are set back from the road, that the chances that you would that someone would be passing a pedestrian or cyclist at the same, right in front of a house that was very close to the road. We try to minimize that. So for sure, that is something that we can discuss with the town. And thank you for that comment.
Thanks again, Rob. Just one quick reminder. Well, if we'll have a link to the survey Shane mentioned earlier, if anyone is interested, they wouldn't mind filling that out. That'll help us improve public information in the future. So Rob, one more question, and just if you could touch on two things. If you could touch on the width of the roads that we kind of have as a criteria for installing centerline rumble strips on, to kind of piggyback off the last question. But also another question that came in is about our rumble strips being installed in dedicated passing zones.
Yeah, so the new guidance from Federal Highway is to install them in passing zones. Currently, I think our spec still says not to. So I would have to discuss with the district, how they want to handle that, this location. One thing, and so generally, because the recommendation is to install them now, we do install them in passing zones. The reason for that is what they've seen in the research is that people are not just drifting out of their lanes at curves. They're also doing it on straightaways. And it's an odd pattern that we've seen, that on these long straight sections, I don't know, other drivers kind of get a false sense of security. They look down at their phone, they start messing with their radio. So even though you might have a long straight section with a passing zone, it may seem that, oh, we don't need centerline rumble strips there. When we've looked back in the crash history, even in Connecticut, after we got those recommendations from Federal Highway, we do see that crashes do happen on those long straightaways as well. One thing that I didn't mention before is that, we do make sure that there's sufficient road width. So we generally want to have at least 14 feet from the center line to the road edge, to try to minimize people accidentally going over the center line, or say, there's snow on the shoulder. So that's another thing that we look to do. And both this section of 123 and 124 were wider than that. That would be a combined 28 feet of road width.
Okay. Thank you again, Rob. Thank you, Phyllis. We'll certainly take your comments into consideration, and also, consult further with the town about Route 124. I'm gonna see
Yeah,
too
that's
if
something like you said, Colin, that's something that we can discuss with the town and, say, do we see a lot of people passing there? Is that an
Mhm.
active zone? And is that something that maybe, we want to make an exception for in this case? So, this is what this forum is for. So we, like Colin said, we appreciate the comment.
and take a minute and I'll just check if there's any questions coming in over our voicemail or email. Give those a minute to come in, but I want to again appreciate everyone coming out to attend the meeting this evening. So just a reminder for everyone, the public comment period is open through August 26th. So if any further comments from anyone online tonight or that joins us after, please do send us a voicemail or email during that time. We will be very happy to take any and all feedback and comments we can get. All right, so just one other question we have that came in is about how long will it take for the construction of this project? So Rob, can you go over that?
Yeah. So this is a really quick installation. So, the project, I may have even already gone through and done the resurfacing. That portion is actually administered by the Connecticut DOT Highway Ops maintenance crews. So, once they complete that, they will schedule, if we move forward with the Centerline rumble strips in these locations, they will schedule for them to be installed either later this construction season or next year. The day that they actually do it, they'll send a notice to the town, and they will complete that in less than a day, because uh, the whole the whole segment can be completed at one time. It's basically a rolling operation to install the Centerline rumble strips, and they'll do it in off-peak hours. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Okay, great. So I'm not seeing any other questions come in, so I'm going to wrap us up here. Once again, thank you all for joining this evening. Just one last reminder to everyone that the comment period is open through August 26th. Questions can be sent to us at the project email. It's DOT 2025 CLRS-New Canaan at ct.gov or by phone at 860-594-2020. And please visit the project website that's linked below, where you can find a copy of the presentation, copy of plans, and a link to a brief survey. We encourage everyone to fill that out. So thanks again, everyone, for your time tonight, and appreciate the comments and the feedback we've heard.